What's up guys, it's Steve Slody and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about professional wrestling. So wrestling's been a lifelong passion or interest of mine, I guess you could say, since I was like 6 or something. Watching it every week on the TV, watching it on the weekends, not during the week when they first aired, watching the replays for some reason. So every Saturday and Sunday I'd watch WWE's Raw and SmackDown, throw it on the telly, cheering on John Cena and hating anyone that was actually cool, because that's what children do. But what I wanted to discuss today was an interesting topic that often comes up around professional wrestling, and that's that it used to be better in the Attitude Era and stuff, when you had Stone Cold running wild, The Rock, and all those older popular figures that really ruled the world of wrestling back in the day. That time period is often discussed as being better than the current product today that's, not got as many superstars, at least not in the WWE at least. And what I feel is that there's just been more of a drop off in popularity, and it doesn't feel as special and exciting as it did back in the day. Even watching in 2005, 2006, every 30th, 50th person would have a sign, and the arena would be full of all these different coloured signs and people cheering and screaming and kids going nuts, adults going nuts, and it felt like massive events. But now today it feels like the crowds are a lot tamer. There's discussion every week about shows not selling out and the crowds being tarped off certain sections to make the arena feel more full. It feels like there's been a massive drop off, and it's not as cool as I guess it used to be. Recently, of course, there was the creation of All Elite Wrestling, a new wrestling promotion started by a bunch of indie, famous wrestlers that really cut their teeth more so in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Japanese promotion. They recently just created their own promotion that's it's on the rise, I guess, and it's like the new wave of maybe bringing wrestling back to what it was. At least I'd like it to be. I'd like it to be the resurgence. And reports come out week to week of its ratings compared to WWE's NXT, which is it's like the third brand. I mean, it's sort of looked at as under Raw and SmackDown, but the wrestling is often better. The promotion is just overall better, storyline wise, wrestling wise, because Triple H runs it, Paul Levesque, I don't know, one of them. Triple H, as he's known in wrestling, runs that, whereas Vince McMahon still runs the main promotions, and it's just, Raw and SmackDown, not great these days. NXT is, it's everything. So NXT and AEW compete for ratings every week, and they're both reported on how close they are, but both fall under 1 million, which I believe I read somewhere or saw somewhere would be those figures are less than WCW was in its dying days in early 2000s. And it seems to have been a massive drop off, and it just doesn't feel quite the same as it used to be, which I find interesting, since the quality of wrestling is far better, far better in terms of the athleticism and the ability of all the performers. New Japan Pro Wrestling, who I mentioned just a second ago, they just had their main event of the year. It's like the WrestleMania equivalent, Wrestle Kingdom 14, I think it was. I haven't seen it, I haven't watched it, but I've heard rave reviews across the board. And every year it gets these incredible reviews of, having the highest quality of wrestling and storytelling, and just being a real, perfected event, I guess you could say. And I guess with how the wrestling is now, maybe it's a lack of development of characters. Maybe it's too wrestling centric or wrestling focused, which I guess is a weird thing to say about a wrestling promotion. But it's the stories and characters and promos and stuff that really drive it forward. So maybe there has to be a return to some more character based work to create some new and intriguing characters and personalities. I know in WWE's main rosters they certainly need a lot more of that. They've only got a few characters that are unique, and then everyone else's character seems to be, I'm a really good wrestler, and that's about it. They don't really have any depth to their personality, which if you look at the biggest characters of the Attitude Era, you have Stone Cold, obviously the Texas Rattlesnake, the Anti-Authority, The Rock, the sort of more arrogant movie star type personality, but also a fan favorite sometimes. Undertaker, obviously the dead man, the really gothic dude that identifies with all the moody teenagers like identify with. And yeah, characters like that, even like Mick Foley and so on and so forth. They're just, the Attitude Era was a character focused, really storyline based time, where every personality or every wrestler had their own little storyline, had their own little character niche, and it just made it overall more exciting. So even in a time period where the wrestling wasn't as top notch, you still had all these fans clamoring to watch every week. Obviously in the WWE versus WCW wars, you know, ratings through the roof on both sides as they competed with each other to be the supreme wrestling brand in the world. And yeah, I feel like it's the characters that drove a lot of that. It was Stone Cold afterwards and his turn-in character to become the anti-authority that really drove the WWE ratings up to really topple WCW, along with D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels and Triple H and everything. And I feel like there is a potential for wrestling to return to that once Vince McMahon steps down and Triple H takes control of the WWE. I feel like it'll become a more polished, better brand with hopefully better creative, because their creative at times is often abysmal, appalling, and many other words that aren't of positive nature. And then hopefully AEW will continue to grow. They have Chris Jericho, a star of both WCW and WWE, heading up their promotion. They have Jon Moxley, former WWE talent, Dean Ambrose, so hopefully they'll be on the rise. I watched the first couple of weeks and I sort of fell out with it. I was like, good wrestling is cool, but it's like the storyline stuff that's like that really draws you in. Although WWE just have some weird wedding angle going on right now that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's confusing me and abysmal. And then on SmackDown you have two people fighting over who has to eat dog food. So wrestling's really in a bit of a state right now. And maybe what I get out of all this is that I should watch New Japan, the Japanese promotion. I don't have to say the Japanese promotion, Japan is in the name. It's New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah, maybe I should watch that, and maybe that will be the way forward. I definitely want to watch Wrestle Kingdom because it's gotten crazy reviews, and it does have good storyline plots. I already know results and spoilers and stuff that happens, but yeah, I think that might be an exciting watch for me. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I don't know, I wanted to do a little wrestling discussion piece about the sort of perception wrestling has, that it's not as good as it used to be, and the fact that the wrestling is actually better. But yeah, the characters and storylines, I guess, is what lets it fall behind. Not enough depth and personality. Maybe I should be a professional wrestler, walk out to the ring saying, "What's up guys, it's the Floyd E." Anyway, as I said, that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed. Any wrestling fans out there who found interest in this video, yeah, let me know if you enjoyed it. Subscribe, of course. 100 videos coming this year. I'm going to stick to that, I have to. Or I will have the punishment, as I mentioned in my previous video. If you didn't see that, make sure you check it out. Link will be in the description. Yeah, so hit the subscribe button, tap the bell to be notified when I post new videos. You can be the first one to see it, and I mean, who doesn't want to be the first one to see the Floyd E's videos? Of course, you gotta race for them. What? Yeah, that's all. Hope you're all well. And yeah, have a good one. I'll see you guys in my next video very soon. Peace!